not at all.
Yeah.
We also do have an individual assessment mechanism for evaluating, for multi-rater evaluation of each person relative to what they're good at, what they've done to contribute, how they've grown, and what they should focus on next. And that often we do in parallel. So it's a little bit of a separate process that we didn't take you through here today, but just know we also offer that. And a lot of times we do that initially just for the CEO or the leader, because a lot of times the team and the leader are a little bit disjointed, and it's partly because the leader is not hearing what the team has to say to the leader about the leader.
Yeah. The individual assessment, well, the individual assessment, it seems like this would work. Is it the same methodology, but different questions, or is it?
Yeah, it's really just 5 questions. It's actually in this particular one, all here.
Yeah, you might as well show it to them.
So here's a quick view of that. For this particular individual, it's what is this person's key strengths? And then it's codified here. So red underline means basically everybody on the team said the same thing to this guy. And if it was red but not underlined, everybody but one. If it's black, it means everybody but 3. And if it's just like, if it's not bolded, then it's just 1 or 2 people said it.
Okay.
What we do is take what they say and consolidate it and hone it and review it with the leader to make sure that we're communicating. And then again, also with the team. So we talk to the team about what they're saying to each individual. So we do a meeting where each person leaves the room and we talk about the data that we've collected from them about that person who's left the room before we come up with the final report for the person. And then present all of that back to the team in aggregate, to the CEO for each person, and then work with the CEO to administer it to each person. So it's quite an interesting and useful process. And it's
let me just make sure I understood what you said, because that was, I would not expect that approach. You asked the person who's being assessed to leave, and then you all talk about him or her in the room?
Yeah, because we've collected data on that person from everybody in the room, right, including from the person. We've consolidated that, reviewed it with the CEO, the leader, and then what we're doing now is saying to the team, here's what we're going to say is the most important things to say to this person. Remember, the first 3 questions are all edifying. What's he good at? What's he contributed? How's he grown? So there's no issues with those. That's all good stuff. So the real question is, what are the top 3 things this person needs to focus on next? And, you know, there's a long list, right? There's 20 things. We want to get that down to the top 3 and working with the CEO or the leader. And then the leader wants to work with the team to say, is this really what we want this guy to do? And if everybody agrees with that, you know, now we have clarity, alignment, and everybody knows what everybody is trying to do.
Yeah.
And before that's pretty powerful.
A lot of transparency in that. Meaning you have to have a strong team to do that. That's great.
That is right. We do have to have a strong team, or it can be done. Actually, I've done this with entire organizations, but you do it, you level it. So you wouldn't talk to the people the next level down. You would talk only with people who level up about
their peers. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you go up a level.
So I think what's most unique is with this narrative and subjective part, you get depth. And with the multi-rater, you get depth, but you also get breadth.
Mm-hmm.
Put them together and, you know, it's pretty powerful. We have a real good view of what a person's like and how they behave.
And for the leaders of these teams that we do this for, the biggest lift they get is forcing them to get clear about what they've got in each person, what they need to have in each person, and how they're going to get it there, and then how to communicate that and then get it.
Yeah.
As a CEO myself, I've found that's one of the most important things a CEO does and needs to do, but most don't know how to do it. So this is a very simple set of tools that empower the CEO to do that.
How do you charge for it? Do you charge per person or per project? Or?
For the basic things we're telling you here, it's per person. And then for the ongoing, if you wanted ongoing support, coaching support could be against a retainer, or a series of reviews could be review meetings on a monthly or quarterly basis.
And how much is it per person?
$3,500 per person for the skill mix, and then $5,000 per person for the whole thing.
And again, what's interesting, the 35 and the 5, what's left out of the 35?
The second, the individual one.
The individual assessment.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Is a sample of both in that?
Yeah. The one that's online that I pointed you to is not this one. It's not this one, but it's another one, and it has both.
Okay, good. Very interesting. And do you guys actually execute this yourself, or do you have other people that you have executed?
We're the guys.
Okay.
We're the ones. We you know, actually, believe it or not, we usually try to train the group we're working with to do it on their own.
Mm-hmm.
At least the individual one is something that can be done annually and doesn't really need our help. We can train internal people to do it. It's really the will of the leader. If they want to do it, there's really nothing stopping them once we've done it a couple of times for you.
Mm-hmm.
The other one we don't recommend doing every year. It's too much. But you could do it every 3 years, and that we would continue to help with.
That's the interview part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't do that every
Yeah.
That has to be done by an individual person. Yeah. But my guess is you get huge benefit the first time you do it, and
Exactly.
then you're getting 80% then, and then another 20% every year or every other year if you do it again.
Right. On the skill mix one, on the individual one, you can get pretty darn high lift every year.
Really interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many of these do you typically do a year? How many companies a year do you work with?
A handful.
Yeah.
But we can do more. We've been more and more focused on this because we like doing it. It's a huge impact. But
yeah, it's fun. And how'd you get into this? Did this come out of your
I did it. I invented my part of this as the individual. And so in the 80s, I was working with a guy like Brent, but not Brent, who helped me invent it after doing a study of how everybody did assessment and development of executives. We invented it and then rolled it out. And I've been doing it ever since. Wherever I go, I do this. Now I help other people do it. And Brent's been doing this for...
about 15 years now.
Yeah. And so you added more content to the questions, Brent, or what was your...
Yeah, I tweaked them, tweaked the interview.
And we blended our two methodologies. I took
put them together.
I have the stages of venture evolution, you know, the concept start, and then the characteristics of each stage, like how do you rigorously define what makes it that you're here versus there, up against his model of norms by stage. And the two just overlap very nicely. We came together about 3 years ago on that. And that's been extremely powerful. And we love working with each other on it.
Great. How'd you guys meet each other, connect on this?
We met at a professional association meeting here in San Francisco of the Organization Development Network.
Yeah.
I was speaking and hosting a session, and did a raffle of my book. And he won the raffle.
I won the book.
The rest is history.
I love it.
I had to read it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You did too, by the way.
That's great. That's great. Well, I appreciate you going through this. You know, I think one of the things that we need to do is start to think, as I mentioned before, of how we can be more rigorous in the work we're doing. And it seems like this would apply pretty well. It obviously applies better if you do the CEO and his management team. But if we were to do it even at the CSO level,
I think it would work, yeah.
It would work. We do CSO, head of sales, head of marketing, and maybe one level below that. I'm not sure yet. In that the online thing that you gave me, I guess I could download that and show it to a couple of the other guys.
You can show some other guys, and I'm going to give you this tape.
Okay, good.
A link. It'll be a link to this exactly what you've just seen here. And you can to your friends.
Good.
What we would ideally like is sort of, if you've got an organization in mind, you want to do a pilot. That's probably the way to go. You know, just try it.
Yeah, let me think about that a little bit. I don't have anyone in mind right now, but I can see the value of it, and particularly in an organization that has gone through some change or is about to go through some change, and you really need to get prepared for that.
Right, right. Like if there's a new leader or a new member, that tends to be a good time to do it.
Yeah. Great.
All right. Well, it's been good spending time with you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Nice to meet you, Brent. Okay. See you later. Bye.
Hey.